So now, government has not been providing the funds necessary so that ARMM can truly govern itself and become an autonomous region. Who has been funding the development in arms? Development expenditures have largely come from the development agencies. So the official development assistance in ARMM has triggered much of the construction, much of the capacity building in ARMM. This is just a stock taking. For instance, the monitoring system of NEDA, looking at official development assistance, tells us that $87.4 million of ongoing ODA loans have directly benefited ARM. And these are just examples of the projects that have gone to ARM. You have the ARM Social Fund, you have part of the Central Mindanao Road Project, you have, these are mostly infrastructure, $550 million worth of loans in 5 projects na kasama ang ARM. Next. We have a ZOPA Social Fund, and this has since been followed by an ARM Social Fund, now more specific to the provinces among the Mindanao. It has a Mindanao Trust Fund that is mostly geared to development in Central Mindanao, so that if the MILF does have a peace agreement, the peace and development processes have been started already. Next. USAID is a major player in ARMM, and this gives you a picture of the funding that USAID has provided to Mindanao, including ARMM. Next. USAID assistance, when we took a look at this, goes into these basic areas: education, conflict mitigation, conflict transformation, conflict prevention. It goes to health. So may mga programs namin for malaria eradication in Sulu, Tawi-Tawi. USAID funds that. For the longest time, USAID funded population planning in areas of the Mindanao. Environment and energy. In Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, and Basilan, one of the more successful projects operated by a donor agency has been a project that provides solar energy to areas that had never had electrical power. Can you just imagine, for generations ang ginagamit ninyo kandila, bigla na lang meron isang bombilya sa loob ng bahay? You know the transformation that is in the life of the community? Unfortunately, that is a project not of national government, it is a project of USAID. So development really is being seen more as thanks to development partners instead of thanks to national government. Next. So, the question that we have to ask ourselves, government funding has really gone more to personal services and not enough to development expenditures. ODA has been responsible for much of the development spending in ARM. Have all of this improved the lives of the people? At the end of the day, when you look at the implementation of a peace agreement, the implementation of development assistance, it has to change the lives of people. If it hasn't, then something is very wrong. So let's take a look at the lives of people to find out what happened. Next. To be able to get a clear idea how people's lives have changed, let's see how life was before everything turned for the worse. I want you to look at only 2 indicators. One, the first one is access to water. Let me take you back to 1970. Why 1970? This is before martial law. Before martial law, Sulu, 15.5% of houses in Sulu had access to piped water. Not big. But, look at Pampanga. Probinsya nino ang Pampanga? Pampanga, 13.3%. Mas mataas ang porsyento ng Sulu as compared to Pampanga or Bataan. That was 1970. Pagdating ng 1990, pinakamababa na kami. Sulu and Lanao del Sur were now at the bottom instead of in the middle. And clearly, Bataan, Pampanga are way ahead in terms of access to pipe water. The next indicator, next week, is access to electricity. Ang assumption, kung meron kang running water at meron kang electricity, pwede kang mag-develop ng industriya, right? You can have factories, you can have manufacturing, right? So, electricity. Sulu in 1970, 6.7% of households had access to electricity. Ilocos Sur, 4.5%. Kaninong probinsya ng Ilocos Sur? Sabin. That was 1970. Pagdating ng 1990, nasaan na ang Sulu at nasaan na ang Ilocos Sur. What do these two tables show you? It shows you that before martial law, the Muslim provinces of this country were not basket cases. We were better than many Christian provinces. And you know why that was? We had barter trade, we had good agricultural production. Sulu, for instance, was I think the #1 exporter of seaweed, abaca. We had trade with Sabah, and all of this brought money into the province. Basilan had plantation economy. They had rubber plantations. The other areas of Muslim Mindanao had thriving agricultural communities. We were neglected by government, but there was really not that much art hostility. So life went on, and it shows itself in the table. What changed was the devastation that came when the militarization began in Mindanao. With martial law, military came. Sulu, for instance, was bombed in the early 70s, and when the military bombed Sulu, 80% of the town was burned to the ground. The infrastructure was destroyed. Power, water, schools, ports, bridges, roads destroyed. Unfortunately, those infrastructure have not been rebuilt. So when your infrastructure, when your physical infrastructure is destroyed, what happens next? Business leaves, right? You can't do business anymore, so you get out of the area. And capital flight occurred. Money left the Muslim area. When infrastructure is destroyed and the money leaves, what happens next? The best and the brightest will also leave. So we had freight trade. Unfortunately, since that time, those three factors have not really been brought back to Muslim Mindanao. If you do not have infrastructure, you don't have water, you don't have power, you don't have educational system, if you don't have funds for investing in businesses, then the best and the brightest will not go back to work there. Instead, they go abroad, like most of you, I suppose, are looking for opportunities abroad. So this is what happened in ARMM. Now, remember, the statistics that I'm showing you is before 1974, 1970 lang ito. So what is the reality now? Next. A decade after the signing of the peace agreement, has the worst human development indicators you could possibly see. Highest literacy, worst education rate, highest dropout rate, highest mortality rate, everything bad. Every bad statistic